Greetings. I just like to kind of turn the video on Wednesday, although it's Thursday. I'm having trouble finding the right days of the week lately, but and share some thoughts and maybe give some insight into what we're doing this week and look ahead. This week we're writing in our journal about point of view and tone, and those are two really important decisions that you make when you're writing, whether it's poetry or fiction or nonfiction, any of the genres that you choose. The point of view and the tone really are decisions that you should make. And I mean, sometimes you should make at the very beginning, and sometimes you start writing and you kind of think, wow. And I mean, I'm a big proponent in my own work. I almost always write in very close third person, so I'm always in the character from a very third person perspective. But sometimes I'll step back and I will write the character in first person just to see how it plays. And I've had workshops where we write perhaps the same story that the character's telling from someone else's point of view, which gives you a different perspective, which is really great as well. In terms of point of view, I'm reading a book now, and it was highly praised by all kinds of great people like Amy Bender and Ann Patchett and so on. And I read mostly straight fiction, and it's called If I Survive You, and it is by Jonathan Escoffery, and he is a writer in Miami, and he's Jamaican background. But I started reading this book of short stories, and it was just such a funny way. I mean, I've read this point of view before, but I'm going to share a few minutes of it. It begins with, "Where are you? What are you?" Howard, from the perimeter of your front yard when you're 9, younger probably. You'll be asked again throughout your junior high and high school, then out in the world in strip clubs, food courts, over the phone at various menial jobs. The askers are expectant. They demand immediate gratification. Their questions lift you slightly off your pre-adolescent toes, tilting you not just because you don't understand it, because even if you did understand the question, you wouldn't have an answer. So he's using second person, and he does throughout the book, and it's a pretty challenging perspective. And I've read, several great stories from that perspective. But choosing second person, choosing that point of view is very, it's obviously a very conscious decision. So, think about whether, if you're writing in third person, some of you I know are writing in first person. If you're writing in third person, what perspective, what point, omniscient is often a lot of the ways people go with a lot of fantasy and such, but it's really much richer when you can get into, carry us through with one person's experience. So be aware of that point of view, and you're writing about it in your journal. The other, and I'm going to try to end quick because I don't like to gab too long, is tone. And tone, I'm going to include the link to this because it has a number of really great examples of tone and words to use for tone. And this one is from The School by Donald Barthelemy, who is a very well-respected and famous award-winning short story writer, particularly. It's from The School, and it's just a few sentences, but get the tone of this. "And the trees all died. They were orange trees. I don't know why they died. They just died. Something wrong with the soil, possibly, or maybe the stuff we got from the nursery wasn't the best. We complained about it. So we've got 30 kids there. Each kid had his own little tree to plant, and now we got 30 dead trees. All these kids looking at these brown sticks. It was depressing." And the tone is pretty depressing too. I mean, I imagine, this scene. So I won't go on any further because just to say that point of view and tone are really important. Next week, you're going to turn in your draft. I'm going to post some hints about writing both short stories and short pieces and poetry as well. Be aware of the limitations of space. You can't, bring your story to the length that it needs to be, right to spec. Have a great weekend. I look forward to reading your journals. All grades are posted now. Let me know if you need anything or need any help. Take care.